to get Thresh right now as well, but
Ooh,
wow.
I like it.
That's a bold move.
Daydreamin's Nami is spectacular, though.
He's been playing a fair bit of it, especially in the LCS, and it's almost the same as like live by the hook, die by the hook from Blitzcrank, because landing bubbles on that champion is like throwing marbles at stuff. It's so incredibly difficult to land, but Daydreamin is a skill shot lover as far as support goes, and he looks to make plays, so Nami is a good fit for him, but of course it leaves open Thresh if Edward wants it whenever. They don't even have to pick it now.
Yeah, the hands have been shown, but not much has been shown. Obviously, Jarvan's going into the jungle. May go mid lane, but Shifter, that's not his pool of champions. Nijaki looking to pick up the Draven for Cop. That would be fantastic. St. Vicious doesn't like the Elise. It's actually been left open. Alrighty then.
Well, they like the Elise in a solo lane.
They like the Elise. I didn't think they were just going to lock it in right there.
This makes it a little curious, because I believe this would be Nijaki's Jace, like we saw yesterday against TSM, and most likely Voyboy's Elise, Cop's Draven. This is the same lineup that Curse ran yesterday against TSM, but they can't get the Jarvan this time, obviously, because Nintendo Next has picked it away. So I actually wonder what St. Vicious's next default's going to be, since the rest of Curse's team is pretty much the same they did yesterday.
He likes that Zac definitely has the same kind of get into the fight like Jarvan. You can get into those special gank spots that really, we heard Clanky D, the lover of Jarvan, kind of explain why he used him in the beginning. So still Zac is open. Looking for some damage dealers here coming in for Coast. The pickup's going to be Mash. He's Caitlyn. Pretty orthodox there.
And even the Zed is very orthodox as far as Coast goes. Shifter really started the season spamming Zed games, and he was very successful on it. The type of pressure that Zed can create, since he can both farm from range and deny the enemy mid laner from having the safety to farm from range, it creates a different level and a different set of rules in mid lane if you have a champion like Zed in there. So Shifter picking that solidly. Coast is going for the very strong lanes thus far.
Yeah, they do lock in the Nautilus, so St. Vicious obviously bringing out Nautilus actually, I think, back at MLG, the last MLG we had in week 5 when they played against I think they played against KT, right? Yeah. Yeah,
and he also has played it at the All-Star game, so that's his kind of go-to for international competition, so he's definitely comfortable on that champion. If they go with the Thresh, going to go for a bit of a Hook City, even though they don't have the Blitzcrank going in. That would make the most sense for me. As a very aggressive, shieldy team would be able to fly in with that. Good picks for Curse.
I like it. They have good initiation. They don't have the disengage so much. They have the box they run away, but that could definitely be worked around. And we see one more pick to come in here. We are going to see what they get for the top laner to come in on the match. Coast just flipping around as Daydreamin is going to be the last.
It would give Coast way too much physical damage, but I'd love to see a Tryndamere here. I think they're going to go with something like a Rumble or a Rise, but I could be completely off. They're messing around a bit here. Even though Tryndamere is kind of the top lane counter to a Jace, and there's most likely Jace in mid lane, it would still be fun to watch in this setting, but the Rumble does make the most sense.
Yeah, you're missing a bit of ability power here on the team, as well as a nice chunk of AoE damage. So they lock down the Rumble. They're going to be able to get themselves into a pretty good fight phase in the game when it gets to it, but we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. We've got to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more LCS at MLG Anaheim. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. MLG Anaheim kicking off LCS Game 2 here on Championship Sunday. The standings of the LCS really flopping around this week, being filled out a little bit more. Our 4 or 5 second places have kind of been switched around. So now into our Curse versus Coast game. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Curse fan, they want to hear you in the box. Shout it out for Curse. All right.
Love bringing the live audience in here. Really reeks of traditional sports here. It's awesome.
Yes.
Who wants Team Coast to take this one? Let them hear it now.
Still some Coast fans in that crowd. Obviously, Curse, a very long-standing organization, is going to have those historical backers that they've always had coming, the signs, the fans, the people to always be backing that Curse squadron. So as we start, looks like Curse goes ahead. They lock themselves in for a bit of that red buff. We're going to see what they can do. We did see last game that Vulcan kind of hovered this top side of the map as well, but they weren't as close and they weren't able to activate anything off of it.
No, I feel like that's just a pretty safe invade right there. They're hoping that there's an aggressive invade on the other side, but we'll have to find out what that issue is real quick and be able to get back to you guys because we want to get some games going.
They are hoping, and Chad, it is happening. The pink wards are going down. We don't know if they're going to fall all the way through and follow through with what they're doing. But right now, neither team is kind of actually, I'm a liar, that was actually warded by Curse. So their jungle on the bottom side is warded. They have done that, but Coast is not.
Yeah, it's just a game sound issue. We should be able to get into this a bit. But let's take it a little bit farther back. Just even Team Coast and Team Curse, the turning point these guys are kind of at their seasons because we have so much parity in the league right now. Even with Team Cloud9 getting knocked down for their second loss, a good week and a team could move themselves up to top 2. And as we know from last split, the top 2 to get the bye in the playoffs is so important.
It really is. Extra spots kind of being helpful as it goes down the line into the road. And you're going to be facing teams, obviously FXO getting themselves in, which is good. So these guys have to remember it's about the teams that are under you, not above you. And these guys right now are trying to get to that top spot. Curse actually was that top spot in the spring season. And although St. Vicious, every time I asked him, was like, you guys obviously like being here, but is it a problem? He says no. And then Boy is like, it's actually a little weight on your shoulders to be headhunted all the time.
And it's not happening to them as much anymore because coming into yesterday's games, they were actually tied for last place in the LCS. So complete role reversal for them. It is a different moment for them. They have actually more star power on their lineup now since the acquisition of Edward. And they're playing a different game. A lot of people are saying that Voyboy at the start of last split was playing the Assassins and that he hasn't been able to play as many Assassins because Elise gotten taken down a lot. I know Kali had received some nerfs as well. And Voyboy didn't necessarily adapt entirely well. If you look at it now, he's still playing Elise. But not to take away from Elise because she's still a great champion, but it's not the same champion that he was playing 3 or 4 months ago.
Absolutely. They're still trying to make things work with what they have, what they remember, those wheelhouse strategies. Like we said, Saint was playing Nautilus back at the last MLG we were at during right towards that Super Week. So it's a change, but it's not for them. The star power is there. Like we said, Cop is really coming back into his own. He's had to find a new different play style coming into this season, and it's been new champions, not just moving differently on MF all the time. And
I don't know if anyone else has seen the kind of sad news today that Toys and Stanley had both stepped down from Taipei Assassins. It surprises me like how, well, it doesn't surprise me, it's a realization again of how much criticism some of these guys can take and how it affects different people. It was really sad reading Toys' post because he was talking about how he had to take sleeping pills to sleep at night because of all the criticisms he'd received from fans, how he just wanted to prove himself so much being from Hong Kong, playing on the Taipei Assassins was really difficult for him. And Cop, I can't imagine what it's like to be that guy because every single time Curse loses a game, people are calling Curse should bench Cop. Edward's way better than him. Why do they still have him? But everyone on Curse supports him, and it really takes a lot of character to be able to take the criticism like that and then come out yesterday with that 11-1 performance and just make it work.
And also the bolstering of the team. Edward on social media saying, no, stop. It's not about Cop. You guys are wrong, and that's coming straight from the horse's mouth right there. It's not like you can say, no, it's wrong. Somebody else said it. So what's going on in the back of their minds, things we don't even think about that are really pressuring them in the games are exponentially. It's things they think about and they have to overcome, as well as winning a lane, as well as communicating with the team and not being silent because that can kill a team.
And above all else, good teams in sports support each other. Even if they'll rage at each other internally and criticize the crap out of them, externally, when people are talking crap about your own players, you have to support those guys.
Yep.
And that's actually something Curse hasn't been traditionally good at, but they're getting good at now. And that's kind of what they need to be able to turn the season around.
And we've even seen St. Vicious kind of coming around a little bit, saying the leadership needs to be there. I haven't put as much passion in. And there's something I thought about, you know, perfecting it for passion and perfecting it for interest. If you've already been there for the win, if something has already been in your hands, you love doing it. You know, it's still there and you want to get it again. But teams like Cloud9, they're perfecting things with passion. They haven't gotten a bite of that yet, so they want it even more, I'm thinking.
And you can almost lump Team Coast into that bunch because they're the new people that have found newfound success. Near the end of last split, everyone was counting, back when they were GGU, Coast out of the game. They were at 7th or 8th place the entire season. They squeaked into the playoffs as a 6th seed, then went on a run and almost beat TSM in the final best of 5. So Coast, especially now with the coach in Elements, tasting victory, much better start to this split, and being able to prove it here at MLG.
It really is crazy, and it's kind of you know, poetic that this is the Elements team versus Curse right now. Who's going to be able to win this? Is that backseat driver, I want to say, but Elements being behind them, helping them theorycraft, helping them to get things in. Like you said the other day, Elements has been on winning teams since he's been in League of Legends.
And oftentimes, it's not necessarily about the strategy, at least in League of Legends, that a coach could bring, because so much of the internal strife of these teams comes from just arguments with each other. People not supporting each other, people not arguing the right way, people taking things personally. And that's what you actually need, kind of an authoritative body above the team. And that's why actually a lot of teams don't like having coaches, because they don't want someone to have something over them. But it's a accepted fate if you're going to be a sports player, because you need someone else to help you with the team cohesion. If a player on the team holds all that power, sometimes it's a lot more difficult.
It is. So, you know, we've seen Team Solo Mid have to kind of go at each other's necks. Teams, they sometimes have to do that to iron things out, and they were able to come up with wins. But Curse doing the same thing to find their stride as we go back into the game, ladies and gentlemen. And we are about to get underway. Now Coast versus Curse on the Rift.
Right on, and back into the game. Level 1 didn't really have much action here. Curse aggressively invaded. A couple of them went back. You can see Edward and Kopp have already went back to base, so that's a 3-man delayed invade. Maybe trying to catch something off. I'm not entirely sure what Curse has planned here. They can see Zion Spartan running by, so that should tell them that the red would be free to steal. This could be a very good level 1 play by Curse.
Coast doing everything they need to, but Curse doing a little bit more. They are going to get the steal here. Void Boy's going to make it to the top lane, missing 0 experience on that one. And I don't think they're going to be able to make it over to that red.
And this
it actually is, yes.
Yeah, this is real smart. This is real smart by Curse, because they counter jungled the blue while giving the red to Kopp, and a level 2 gank by St. Vicious on Zion.
Oh, Zion's probably going to have to flash on this one. He does, but they get the passive lockdown. The anchor toss to still be there. No, he couldn't. He took 2. He took what he needed in the jungle.
Hey, it burned the flash, and it got him incredibly low in that lane, which should give Void Boy a lot of freedom. Now we're seeing Coast try to react, since Coast just realized that their buffs are gone. They've seen the red buff in bottom lane on Kopp and the red buff in top lane on St. Vicious. So Nintendo X and Daydream are actually trying to make a reactive play diagonally across the map to get a blue buff back.
See if they can make their way in. A beautiful blown flash on that Rumble up top. We've heard Kobe say multiple times, Rumble is that person that 2v1 ganks can sometimes be troublesome if he is that one. Void Boy, he's trying to get it back though. Zion Spartan, no flash. Void Boy flash ignite, and it looks like they go back and forth. The sliver of health on each side. Oh my God.
One more spell from either one of these guys would have been able to decide it. They both just drank all of their health potions. They're just ticking up in health. That gank really was a catalyst for some action.
There's a game of cat and mouse going on right below them. Nintendo X and Edward just going back and forth here. Now leaving the lane. No summoners here for Zion Spartan. His positioning is going to have to be perfect. That grab may have meant big things, but Coast is just collapsing on the blue.
They really wanted to make sure they got the experience of this blue buff back onto the rest of his team. So it was double red to Curse and a double blue buff to Coast. But Nintendo X actually just renewing his blue buff, and now he might actually try to take that to gank Void Boy while Kopp is bottom.
Void Boy coming up with an early ward. He knows what's happening. Nintendo X just taking a bit of lane tax here. Looks like he may pressure the turret some, but they're not going to get much out of it. They have to realize with Nintendo X showing up top, where is Saint going?
And we got to keep in mind that Edward's just been roaming this entire game as well. So it's actually been Kopp 1v1 against Shifter, and he's beaten him up enough now that Shifter is probably either drinking all his health potions or going back to base, because just 1v1 since Kopp started with that awesome red buff has really allowed him to not only beat Zed in lane 1v1, but it's allowed Edward to roam.
Roam indeed. It's a level 4 to a level 2 Edward right now. You can see that Cop coming in with him. They're able to just push this off the turret without any worry.
Normally you need a jungler to pull that off. So very good play there early on by Curse. You can see just by the lane game, 600 gold lead. There's been no kills or turrets taken down, strictly out farming them and out maneuvering.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, everybody voted with voices here, but you can vote online, hashtag CRS, hashtag CST. You can see an update live on the Twitter ticker on the screen.
Oh, flash!
Play that one fast. The bubble goes on the backside. It did not hit. Daydreaming low. The ignite is on. The last tick is there. Oh, he's in the melee for him, but he does get it. And it looks like they might be able to finish off Mashmi. The passive there for the hit. No, it's not. Saint just on the outside.
And Mashmi really wanted to go in for a kill there on Nijaki, but that was a good gank by Saint. And he really needed it too, since Saint was actually only level 3 after all of the things he's been having to deal with, getting the double red with the gank top, and just the back and forth he had with Intendude X should allow Saint to stay in this game and potentially pick up some quick boosts.
This is the first time we're seeing Intendude down in the bottom. He's done experience soak-up duty now in the top lane and the bottom lane. The mid was just left, so the one kill being slowed down a little bit because Intendude X is making himself present in every lane.
And this is what Intendude X did a lot of yesterday in their victory. He spent an inordinate amount of time early just holding lanes, and it allowed Team Coast to come a little bit ahead in the turret game, even if it set him back a little bit in farm. He's trying to do the same thing again, but while he's doing so, Curse is actually punishing the lanes much harder than Coast had them punished against them yesterday.
Pretty hard objective reaching here, looking for a 6-minute turret in that bottom lane. No turrets for this, or no minions for this one, but that next wave will surely mean that Cop and Edward are going to start roaming even more to that mid lane or even top if they swap it up.
It's looking pretty good. Cop hasn't even had to shop yet while just dominating that lane, so when he does, he'll get a whole heap load of gold. He should be able to pick up an early BF sword on Draven, and since Saint hasn't really had to pay attention to that lane, that is just all wins for Curse.
And what is going to be the decision here? If Nijaki isn't feeling pressured, they'll send the double AD carry support up top, or is it going to be to counteract the double AD mid now?
I think at this point, since Nijaki's holding that mid lane so well and Saint is coming with him, that Curse may actually send their duo lane top just to try to get the easier turrets down, since it's harder for an Intendude X to send extended support up top lane, and that would also open up maybe more Dragon opportunities for Curse to take later.
Good wardage coming in from Daydreaming, keeping that mid lane safe, supporting to the fullest effect on that lane. Again, we've seen Intendude X back into the laning phase. Jarvan's the aggressive jungler in the beginning, but he knows it's just about soaking up the experience. Like you said, it's okay to be a little behind for him.
It's definitely the way he plays, because he likes trying to keep his solo lanes involved in the game, and he needs to do a little bit more of that because his solo lanes are losing right now. You look at Voyboy versus Zion, it's a 18 minion kill advantage now, and mid lane it's 35 to 28, even though they've both been in 1v2, so all of Curse's lanes winning by a bunch right now, and a 20% early gold lead already there.
Mashmi getting those boots to keep his distance in mid, but Cop taking a BF sword right off the bat. That's going to be damage to health bars and turret health bars. So looking to grab fast turrets here in the eyes of Curse.
And what happened here actually is, when we guessed that they would go top, they decided to go mid instead because they want buff control and dragon control. Plus they knew Intendude X was already off top lane, so they'd have a window to get some more stuff done. Nice steal and nice pressure mid by Curse.
Really moving the chess pieces a few steps ahead of where they need to be, making things happen before they need it. Sion Spartan in the top lane, the Q goes out, wasn't enough just off the bat. The shield from Scrap comes in, but is he going to be able to make it back? That's 8 seconds. Voyboy walks through the turret. Keep going, Zion. Tries to get the first harpoon. Second one lands. It's go. Oh, he missed. He gets into the bush. Is able to activate. It's not on cooldown.
Voyboy knew he'd be able to chase him down. It did have to burn his flash, though.
Matter of time.
The amount of turret shots he means he's been dominating Zion in that lane. And it was kind of coming since the early level 2 gank that St. Fish has pulled up there. Even though it was almost traded back by Zion Spartan, let Voyboy have a bit of that early lead.
8.5 minutes, 4 strong in mid for Curse, and the only thing they have really here to clear this out is a Peacemaker and some traps sitting up in front for re-engage. Curse doesn't want any of that, and they just go back to the jungle until they can find the next turret.
I'm a little surprised Curse didn't try to run down for a dragon right after that, but you can see Jackie's mana is actually incredibly low with that early tier of the Goddess. All Jackie's trying to do right now is get to as fast a Mura mana as possible, as most mid Jaces have been doing lately. And since Team Coast is a little bit on the run right now, Curse isn't afraid of Coast taking a dragon, and Curse is going to probably go for it at their leisure.
That may be the first time Shifter crossed that blue, knowing that it's down, they will have that icon back. But he's going to try to get a push in this bottom lane, telling the team not to engage in mid, but it may be necessary to keep his turret up.
Yeah, it's about Daydream and maybe landing a double bubble while Nintendo X is going down, but Nintendo X can't find good gank paths because of how deeply into Coast jungle Curse has been able to ward. If you look at the buff area, even where Saintfishes is camping, they're invading deep into Coast territory right here, and it's giving them that map advantage.
And it looks like they're trying to get a quick assassination on the bottom lane here, saying nobody's here, don't worry about it, we'll just jump on you when you get close enough.
Yeah, this is a little sneaky. Nintendo X was seen about 30 seconds ago walking towards this lane, so Jackie may suspect there's someone in the midst, and that's why he's just kind of going off to do something else, because even though it would be nice to be able to farm this lane, it's dangerous. It's just a matter of how patient does he think Coast has actually been.
Oh, Jackie, don't get in your own head. You are playing this beautifully right now. He does wait, and he is probably really proud of himself for this moment.
He knew it, man. Maybe someone was telling him, Jackie, don't do anything dumb. You don't need to go out there. He's
well,
like,
you also have to consider they have the the raid ward. Wow, the ward at Wraiths. There we go, easy English. We also have the wards going down the bottom side. So they were knowing that the jungler is also not where he just was, and High isn't anywhere. Yeah, High on Zed. Shifter isn't anywhere either. So that was great play, just over map control.
And the wards are just walking Nintendo X around the map. It seems anywhere Curse puts a ward down, Nintendo X is just going to walk over it, unbeknownst to him, as just happened with that Tri-Brush, and it's allowed Edward and Kopp to keep the safety in this mid lane.
So as you look at those 2 kills on the board, that is one going to Nye. Jackie able to pick that up, as well as Voyboy. Voyboy definitely one of the tide turners for Team Curse. He can make or break these fights, and definitely want the one to be soaking up the kills. Going for the early pen build, and you can see Zion Spartan not trying to build the HP because it would hurt him against Elise. He's going for the straight magic resistance.
He's just trying to decrease the amount of poke Voyboy's destroying him right now. Right. Level 9 is like the best point in the game for the Elise lane.
Hurts a little bit.
Because it's the highest point for her missing health, or current health and missing health Qs from ranged and melee respectively. And I just got to say how much momentum is factoring in for Curse right here, because this is probably the best early game I've seen Curse play all year, and it's coming off that great comeback yesterday.
Zion Spartan steps in the bush. The scrap shield has already been hit up, and Voyboy no man on this one, but he's trying to get the last Q. Executes out. He gets it. The repel. He's out. The minions helping him out so much there. Wow.
And that's the level 9 spike from Elise. How many times in that exact top rush have we seen a level 9 Elise just camp in it, wait for someone to walk, land the cocoon, and then full combo someone? Zion Spartan just walked into it and was not patient enough sitting in his turret. He wanted to try to get something back.
St. Vicious going with the patented, knowing he's ahead, mobility boots right off the bat, and that is allowing each one of these lanes to continue snowballing. Already the Jace doing some extreme damage, and only the double sword tier for him right now.
So 2 turrets now. This might be the moment where Curse decides to go for the dragon. Voyboy's running out of base. They know Zion Spartan's ultimate is down. And if Coast wanted to try to fight, they could either barely save the game or just keep falling a little bit farther behind in this fight, because they're already down 4K gold. Nintendo X really wants a dragon steal here, maybe even a fight.
Everybody just splits the wave in half there. 3-point shot by Daydream, and it looks like they're just going to walk out of this one.
Look out!
Draven, the pull in the box! So much AoE damage!
And that's the danger of trying to contest a dragon against a team you're already losing badly against, because instead of just giving up the 750 dragon gold, they give up 2 extra kills and all the other rewards that come from that. So 5-0 now, and a crisp, clean 13-minute dragon for Curse.
That was a really great fight for Coast to come into as well. They went parallel on it. That's what you want to do to dragon. You don't want to be pinched into one spot, but they realized we can't stand together. We take Jace Shock Blast to the face, and they kind of hurt. So we'll see if they can coordinate their fights a little better. They got, as Kobe would say, a little hyphy trying to get in to just stop the dragon.
And once they went too far, it was Voyboy's chance to just come in from the side. That's what forced the flashes out. That's what funneled everyone on Coast in towards the wall, because they wanted to run away from 2 points at once, and they just got grouped up.
13.5 minutes in, a 5-0 kill lead for Curse. A nice 6,000 gold lead that they're sitting on right now, and that's pretty far ahead of the game. That could be a few items being finished for teammates. That Bloodthirster in the bottom lane. Zion Spartan getting help. Depth charge from the backside. It doesn't look good, chat.
He is just dead to rights. That lane has not been going well for Zion Spartan. 105 to 55. Voyboy is 2-0-2. Everyone on Curse is just playing close to perfect right now, and it's crazy because all the reactions from the Curse players after yesterday's game was how relieved they felt and how much better they felt after finally winning a game, especially against TSM. And that is carrying over so strongly to this match.
Oh my gosh, one after the other. Welcome to the jam. Nijaki getting another kill on the Jace.
It's the confidence playing right there. They know exactly what they can do. They know they have a lead, and they're back in their groove right now, Riv.
7-0, definitely a lucky number 7 for them right now. Voyboy's still going in. He has been turret diving all day, but he chooses not to on that one. He holds back just for this one.
And it's now the triple lane push, and this is what teams do when they're up 7,500 gold at 14 minutes.
Oh,
there's a bit of confidence.
The cleanse Poland. Very cheeky move there by Mashme. And overall, even more so, I like Voyboy's choice in the bottom lane because they got the top turret and his dive wouldn't have allowed him to stay here.
Look at Safe dive.
Oh, Safe is going to the back. He flashes to get the lockdown on the Daydreaming. This guy's focus is so good right now.
They are just so confident diving in near the Nexus turrets. And boy, Curse 8-0 right now, working on their 4th turret. This is the best game they played all year.
Absolutely methodical. They are surgically removing any threat from the map and pushing forward at the exact perfect times that they need to. 15 minutes in, our last talk about something they did was at 13 minutes. So it's every I'd say 2 minutes, because that's 13 to 15, Jat. Every 2 minutes they're coming up with something big, and it's never been answered yet by Team Coast.
And it's getting to the point where it may be a little bit too hard to answer, because what is this now? 8,000 gold lead at 15 minutes. Some of the biggest, to me, like the line of comebacks is 6,000 gold at 16 minutes, because that was the Marn comeback that we saw way back at the start of the Season 3 qualifiers, and we actually almost never see comebacks from gold larger than this. So Curse has had some trouble closing out games this season, but a game like this looks like they're in full control.
Curse has everything to fight in the early game here. More damage from Voyboy, the percent damage right away. Zion not really getting his ultimate off in any engagement yet. I haven't really seen Equalizer come out in these fights. And they need to start grouping because their power in lanes by themselves is not going to start winning them.
And a lot of the reason that Zion Spartan's not getting his ult off in fights is because Voyboy kills him, and then Voyboy goes and fights. Yes. So it's not like Coast has much of a choice in the matter at this point. Zion Spartan's still not even level 11. He really needs to get level 11 for that Equalizer. In fact, nobody on Coast is level 11, whereas Jackie and Voyboy are 11 and 12. Yeah. So you get about 500 plus gold per level on top of this giant gold lead they already have.
That's 500 gold in kind of statistics.
Stats, yes. I should clarify.
So 17 minutes in, that gold lead creeping to 8,000 now. Only 3 turrets is what Curse has managed, but they've made it seem like so much more. They're really working this slow and steady. They're not putting themselves in a dangerous spot. The hard hats are on, but they're doing everything they need to right now. Shifter getting pushed back in the top lane. They always have a 2 versus 2 engagement.
And it's still so early in the game that Curse is getting the most benefit off just doing this.
As Zion's firing the flame spitter, but he's got to turn around every time to get it. There it is. Voyboy going down again, and he has just been all over Zion this game.
He is so on point right now, knowing exactly how and when to tower dive Zion Spartan. It almost seemed like if Zion would have stayed under the turret, he may have served a chance, but as soon as he went outside, Voyboy could repel through the turret range and get the execute bite onto Zion Spartan.
And we'll just how much of a detriment that lane has been. It is hurting them, and it's the pressure that Curse has put. 142 minions to 69, 0-4 and 0 to 302, and he hasn't finished that haunting guys even.
He's not even close to having money right now. He's at 3,300 gold at 18 minutes. I mean, Cop has 7,000 gold, double the gold of Zion Spartan. This is very impressive by the entire Curse team.
A lot of zeros down the line as Curse pulls up 9-0 on the scoreboard. Another turret as well as they make that to 6-0 just on the backside of Jarvan. Edward misses a grab. They back out once again with really now taking a scratch on an advantage.
They can just go pick up a dragon shortly in 30 seconds as well. They may go try and pick up another kill on Zion Spartan. The world is their oyster right now because they picked really strong in this game as well. Waiting on the Thresh pick, you know, letting Coast go into the Nami, just getting all the comfort champions, even though they're slightly nerfed comfort champions from the spring split like we talked about earlier, but that doesn't matter for Curse because it's how you play the champion that really matters.
And you can see, look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wards, just not even, their jungle's blacked out. They know nothing's happening in their jungle. They have a complete security system in the side of Coast right now, and pink wards to come in to make sure those wards aren't cleared, and they have a clear advantage completely.
it's just smart warding. It would be quite a sneaky move if Coast could somehow get into the Curse jungle undetected, because every single movement path for Coast is taken up. So even if Coast wanted to try and sneak a dragon, they would essentially just give themselves more death.
Curse grabbing this one up. Boy in the bottom lane gets hit up, and he's going to say, yeah, I am here. Volatile spider damage, missing on some minions, but Boy chases out. Nijaki getting pressured in the top lane by 2, but they can't really even activate anything onto him. He may, he may even go for this 1v1.
He wanted to, but he's done it enough times already in this game. The Muramana got completed onto Nijaki. The Bloodthirster Last Whisper combination that Kopp was talking about, the Russian influences, completed for him as well. We're not even 20 minutes in, so I'd either expect a Baron, which I'd actually think Coast is going to advise against with St. Fish's recent smiting track record. Curse is probably just going to look to take inhibitor turrets and maybe even end the game without taking a Baron at all.
It has to be. The 20-minute Infinity Edge just finished. About 2,300 gold is what Kopp is ahead of Mashme. There's your Last Whisper coming in, along with the boots. Doran's from the start. He has been tearing down turrets, and that's not really what you see a Draven doing in a game. These guys have played exceptionally and out of the boundaries of their champions here.
They're doing everything and more right now in this game. You don't often see this type of scoreline of 13,000 gold, 6 turrets to 0, then just flip that 6 upside down, and that's how many kills they have. So everything is working for Curse. Their season may be getting switched around after yesterday.
You know what? The fans push them, they push themselves, and it's definitely showing here in the game. Coast, obviously climbing that ladder back in the spring split. That's the reason they are here. It's the reason they're a team in the LCS, and they are still not out of this game. It is grim, though. We can't say they are definitely going to get back with it in one fight. If you have to put it into minutes, this is a 40-minute game for them to get back in.
And we've seen a lot of comebacks here at MLG. I've already written off a few teams before Nexus push. I mean, like, yeah, it's pretty much over. Then they get like a 4-for-0. Kopp gets a quadra kill, and they go and beat TSM. This is what happened just yesterday. So Curse trying to secure as much as they can, and I feel like since Coast hasn't even been into their own jungle in the past 5 minutes, Curse feels safe at least starting this Baron. But as soon as Coast comes to approach, I'd either expect Curse to go off of this or try to fight Coast outside of the Baron.
From the outside, Jackie comes to help as well. Very correct, chat. They decide to walk out of this one. And really, this kind of hurts Coast as well, because they don't want to have to be doing this. They want to be warding up, they want to be clearing lanes and not trying to reactionary pressure what Curse is doing.
Curse flanked around Coast.
Coming back around the side, Daydream again. No, a shock blast to the dome piece. It takes down Daydreaming, and it looks like they're going to start heading towards this top lane.
And they're just trying to run down as many people as possible. They slow down Shifter and force the flash.
Everything forced out of that one. Nintendo gets caught in the bush. They're going to turn around to find him. The Javelin goes down. He does get the flag toss, but they're going to worry about the base. So really, they're just deterring the backs.
And right now, Curse is just trying to get as many minions and a growing advantage on Team Coast. Maybe they're going for the clean shutout because they're not taking any big risks, as seen by that very quick Baron peel, and then just trying to run down every individual Coast player in the jungle.
Curse is remembering, I think it was a game against Team Solo Mid where they had a 22-minute game in the LCS at the studio. So they're going to see if they can do that once again and kind of pull one of those into their favor. Give the own medicine back to Coast on this one. A turret going down. That's the inhibitor. Their lanes are pushed up, and they're pushing the top one too.
It is just wall-to-wall pressure here from Curse, top to bottom. Kopp and St. Fish is just buddying up, whereas Edward is buddying up with Boy and Nijaki, and this is too much split for Coast to handle.
They are really being spread thin across the map, and right now they need power in numbers. It's not something they can find. We saw Daydreaming go out solo one by one. The security system that I talked about before is giving them those single kills that has allowed now 2 inhibitor turrets.
And this could also be 2 inhibitors if they're not careful. I don't see how Coast is going to try to turn this one around. Zed ultimate's down. Almost all the ultimates are down on Coast except for Jarvan's Cataclysm, and the push is just going to keep continuing.
The mid inhibitor goes down as well. 24 minutes in. All 3 outer inhibitor turrets are going to be crushed for Coast.
And Curse is looking real good right now. There's the hook on, but they don't care because they got another inhibitor going down over in top.
There it is. No, St. Vicious and Kopp taking it down. Oh, but the fight goes on. Jackie very low will probably find a coffin in this fight. He goes down, but it's the 1-for-1 now. The second one in the Zion Spartan. Daydreaming very low. Edward picking himself up a kill with Thresh. The triple kill for Boy. Mashme preventing the ace, but can he prevent the win?
Curse will have no shutout today, but they're still going to have a resounding victory. This is the third inhibitor going down. I don't know, due to the shortness of the death timers, if they can end it here, but they've definitely done everything they need to secure themselves this win.
This is actually pretty scary. They're very low on mana here, so they can only retort with a few spells. Mash me, trying to go.
He's getting out of there.
The backside, he's like, follow me, I'm going the right way. You should go with me. The wards go down, so they know where they're going to come off the base. The Nexus is going to be hit up. Curse coming through with an almost perfect game. A 0 turret shutout, and the Nexus taken down at 24-28.